Hey, it's Dr. Matt here. I hope you're doing well out there. Some of the ideas I wanted to share with you today is really how to loosen up your hamstrings, whether they become tight as a result of an injury or you're just trying to get looser and move better. Your hamstrings can play a role, right? So I'm going to show you a couple ideas today, two mainly different versions of stretching, different than what you're used to, and as well we're going to be using something like this. You can get yourself a lacrosse ball or a softball, and then we'll go from there. So stay tuned and we'll get started. When it comes to your spinal health and your hamstring health, your hamstrings have to come up, and this is a back to front view. Your buttocks, back of your spine, hamstrings come up. Some of the origins are through here on the back of your sit bones. And realistically, when you come forward, right, they're going to shorten through here and pull you back up, right? So one of the things I want you to keep in mind as well, all the nerves got to come down through there, lumbar, sacral region. And if you're stuck and shifted and there's any impairment in the communication between your brain and the nerves exiting through here to go to your hamstrings, that can be a factor in your overall problem, okay? Also, don't forget that if you're stuck and shifted in your spine, typically your flexor muscles, so hamstrings, are going to be more stiff and tight, right, in that protective state, right? So keep that in mind. You can do the stretching, you do the exercise, but if things aren't still working out for you, then essentially you want to know if your spine's shifted or not. So what can you do for yourself? There's the basic stretching, right, which I'm sure you've heard before, right? And essentially, bring your heel up, lean forward, bending at your hips, feel the tension in your hamstring rather. That's going to be one thing you've probably heard before. What I like to do is actually just get nice and square and just contract down. So push your heel down and count to 5. So give it 5 seconds and then lean forward a little bit more. Right? Stretch 20 to 30 seconds, contract down for 5 seconds. So actively push your heel down that way, the whole time breathing from your stomach. So go through a couple of cycles of that. You can push down actively for 5 seconds, engage your hamstrings, and then let the passive tension kick in and just stretch a little bit further. Right? I would go for a cycle of that for maybe from 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. The other one I wanted to show you is actually, if you have something firmer than a tennis ball at home, ideally like a lacrosse ball or a softball, right? Grab it and essentially grab a hard surface like a kitchen chair or a bench like we have here, and you're going to actually find that area, so your sit bones, you're going to actually find this area, sacrum, and then your sit bones are through here, and you're actually going to sit down just like that on top, right? And not so much directly on top, but a little bit in front. So looking at the side view, you'd be hitting right there where the hamstrings all come up. And what I want you to try is, this one's actually worked really well for me. So from here, and you just find that angle, and you're going to be a little bit lopsided, don't forget, and you'll be up tall, but lean forward. Right? And you'll notice there's going to be tender areas. When you're tender, hang out, breathe from your stomach. Right? But essentially you want to loosen up that area and get that relaxation response and help those tissues move better and glide easier. So when you're doing this, make sure the contact is right underneath your sit bone. And it's going to be a little bit awkward at first, you may be tender, but just when it gets easier this way, you can always shift over and turn this way. But again, go through the range of motion nice and slow. Count to 5 on the way down, 5 on the way up. You can try 8 to 10 cycles of that, and you can get to a softball eventually, and just really break up those tissues and help you move better in terms of loosening up those hamstrings. And don't forget, if the hamstrings are constantly tense, it's going to be poor signals in your nervous system potentially, and you're not going to work as well to loosen them up, even though you may be doing exercises, mobility work. Always consider the factor being your nerve system and spine. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.